Your sporting director is gone.
Yeah.
The guy that is supposed to bring you players, gone. The results, injuries, results haven't gone their way. They're not really in the title race now.
Right, but it feels like
they're one loss in the league. I mean, recently they lost multiple matches.
Right.
They lost against Newcastle. Hold on, and you mentioned that Inter Milan had eyes on Napoli. Odds are that, especially with the way that the Champions League has played out for Arsenal, they had eyes on what's coming next, which is Chelsea.
Yeah,
a massive match against Chelsea.
For sure.
You lose this match, no one's going to care about it if you beat Chelsea and you're back in the title race a bit better.
It's not panic stations for Arsenal.
Inter now unbeaten in their last 9 matches across all competitions. They made 5 changes to the starting 11 in this one. So this was a heavily rotated squad. For Arsenal, though, Charlie, it just looked a little listless. Did Mikel Arteta get outcoached by Inzaghi in this one?
Yes, in a way, because Inter rotated their squad. This wasn't a full-strength Inter side. So when I saw Marcus Thuram not starting, I saw Nicolo Barella not starting, I thought, okay, this...
Bastoni not starting.
DeMarco had been injured, I thought, okay, this is great from Arsenal given all the injuries. But they didn't threaten. The only time Arsenal really threatened was corner kicks. And for me, that's a big concern. And I get you're playing away from home.
And how many corner kicks did Arsenal have? Do you have a stat? Can we pull that up? It must have been the last time we counted on Golazo show.
Corners.
13 is the last time I counted.
13.
Yep.
So that set piece coach. Come on now.
Yeah,
Nicolas Jover, where you at, bro?
I'd like to say I was surprised with how Arsenal played in terms of being positive and courageous and trying to win the game there, but I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. How come?
It's almost what we're accustomed to seeing now from Arteta, which is playing safe and not being courageous and not taking it too. Although in the second half, Inter said, hey, we're fine with this. We're just going to sit back.
They pulled out the 6-4-0 formation.
And they said, we'll allow you to keep coming. And you didn't see anything that was really telling of Arsenal moving forward and evolving in the attacking third. And obviously, Odegaard, it just shows what a piece he is for this team. Without Odegaard on the pitch, you're missing the creativity and you're missing the movement from certain players.
There's just no way to link up the defensive half and the attacking half of this team. And you saw it, especially when in the second half when Inter was willing to sit back. Arsenal, the only ideas they had were to go to the wings and send in crosses to a team that was extremely defensively stout, just not willing to give up anything and willing to say, like, if you're going to do that, you're playing into our game. And that's exactly what happened.
They had 46 crosses.
46 crosses.
46 crosses yesterday.
Jesus. That's more than your local church.
And do you know how accurate those crosses were on 46 of
Tell
those?
me, Chuck.
22%.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah, I think Arsenal there's so many questions around Arsenal at the moment, and that's very evident, and they have to figure it out. I think there's a lot of questions, even about Trossard didn't have a good game. Yes, I'm not ultimately convinced Trossard centrally. And Arteta needs to figure it out because he still has Martinelli. Like, there's a lot of questions.
The reason he's playing him there is makeshift.
Right, and I get that, but why are we at the point at Arsenal where you have to... I get Odegaard's not in, but... There's Declan Rice is in. There's so many pieces, and I asked you guys about the midfield with Merino, Partey, and I'm missing the other guy, and Jorginho in the midfield. That are you going to have Trossard drop in? Who's going to be the creative force? There's questions about
lack of depth,
quality depth. And there's a long season to figure that out.
But that's the major issue, is the lack of depth. At some point, if you're going to consider yourself a title contender
in multiple competitions,
you can't have the question of 1 or 2 players are out and it completely throws your entire process out of the window. Your system can't completely fall apart. And I think playing Inter Milan was a great example of what happens when you have a system that's willing to be flexible and you say, okay, if we go up 1-0, we can sit back and be able to suffer and be able to withstand that attack.
When it's funny in football, you always look at the opposite side of the coin, right? You ask yourself, is Inter winning 1-0 on a penalty kick that was a Mikel Merino handball? Ultimately, was that victory virtue of Inter or a misstep from Arsenal? And I do think Arsenal has been misstepping for several games now, but we can't go having this conversation without giving credit to Inter. I understand that maybe it wasn't the greatest game. Inter wasn't playing Arsenal off the pitch.
They just want to get the job done.
And with their subs, essentially with the B team, starting Taremi and Lautaro up top, for sure Inzaghi's mind, he had one eye on Napoli at the weekend, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes. And I think this format gives you that luxury where you can say, there's so many more points up for grabs. Maybe I can rotate my squad.
That's a really good point.
And think about Napoli at the weekend. And all that being said, they grinded out a result. Dumfries was great on the night.
Yeah.
Defensively, they were all of those crosses coming in the corners. Inter defended them really well. Not too many teams can defend Arsenal that well on corner kicks.
But you know why? Who has aerial prowess on Arsenal? Who are you afraid of a cross?
Gabriel Magalhães.
In the attacking phase of play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's different.
Who are you afraid of?
Yeah, it's very, very few guys. But Magalhães, Saliba, where they're the 13 corners.
It seems to be a theme with Arsenal these days. Unhappy with some of the calls that were made. Does he have a point, Alexis?
No, because I don't think it's a penalty if you touch the ball ahead of time. I get that he punches Marino, but he got contact with the ball, so it is what it is. I think if it's called the other way and it goes to VAR, it doesn't get changed. So it is what it is. And of course, this handball, that's by the letter of the law. That's the handball.
It's going
especially the way it's interpreted in Europe versus the way. And I understand Premier League fans are upset because it would be interpreted slightly differently in Premier League.
Yeah, when you're finding a scapegoat, that's scapegoating what Mikel Arteta was doing.
It's the classic Mourinho.
But why talk I get that you're angry and frustrated, but it's a weak response. It feels like it's a weak take to the greater problem at hand. Arsenal
That's the whole
has lost a couple
point,
of games. Yeah.
Your sporting director is gone.
Yeah.
The guy that is supposed to bring you players, gone. The results, injuries, results haven't gone their way. They're not really in the title race now.
Right, but it feels like
they're one loss in the league. I mean, recently they lost multiple matches.
Right.
They lost against Newcastle. Hold on, and you mentioned that Inter Milan had eyes on Napoli. Odds are that, especially with the way that the Champions League is played out for Arsenal, they had eyes on what's coming next, which is Chelsea.
Yeah,
a massive match against Chelsea.
For sure.
You lose this match, no one's going to care about it if you beat Chelsea and you're back in the title race a bit better.
It's not panic stations for Arsenal. There's still time to turn it around in the Champions League. There's still time to turn around in the Prem. No one is crowned Premier League champion.
Chuck's already getting up.
November.
I love it.